Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn, and in this video I'll be using the Polkadoodles Gnome Much Fun download and print bundle, which is amazing. It has so much in this bundle, and it's on clearance for a phenomenal price. So if you're interested, I'll leave a link in my description box below so that you can pop on over to the Polkadoodles site and check out their clearance section. So this Slimline window card is actually reversible, so you can actually view it from both sides. And I'm using a diamond press die cut set to actually create the base of my Slimline window card. What I've already done in advance is all of the die cutting. So I just used two dies in the set to create my base, and all of these little cutouts that are my window apertures, I'm saving all of those pieces because I can definitely use them on another project. So I've die cut these first two pieces from 120-pound heavyweight cardstock because they are going to be the base, and I'm going to rescore the score lines that the die does put in there for you. And that is because I'm using such a heavyweight cardstock. I just really want to make sure that those score lines are deep enough so that when I actually fold them, my cardstock doesn't crack on me. I'm cutting a few pieces of acetate here, and I'm not using heavyweight acetate at all. This is just the thin stuff that I have. And the final card size, when it's flat, will be 8.5 by 3.5. And that includes the 1/2 inch depth once the card is sort of popped up into its 3D form. So these pieces here that I've die cut from some of the pattern paper that comes in the Gnome Much Fun bundle are actually cut to 8 inches wide, because once this is propped up and is fully dimensional, you'll see that it's 8 inches by 3.5 inches. I'm going to put some really strong red line tape on this first tab here. This is the glue tab that I'll apply on both of my card base cutouts, and that will ensure that we get a nice secure bond between the back of the card and the front of the card. And then I'm going to just start layering things up. So first off, I'm going to attach my acetate to this window card front, and as well to the back of the card too. So what's neat is this is designed so that it's actually symmetrical. So when it's open, you'll be able to see right through both the front and the back, which I think is kind of neat. And then that gives you the opportunity to actually decorate it on both sides. And the unique aspect of this particular digital bundle is that in the images for the gnomes, you actually get both sort of like the mirror image of all of the gnomes in this set. So you don't even have to do any digital manipulation at all to flip the image. You actually get them in that way, so that you'll see in a bit when I bring the gnomes on, the hat is actually kind of flipped to one side or the other. And in this bundle, you get the image files for both. So that makes it perfect for doing something like this, where you want something to be visible from the front and the back, because you can just glue those two separate images together, and because they are mirror images, they'll work front to back as well. So that'll make a little bit more sense when you see me attach the gnomes to my landscape stands. But for right now, all I'm doing is just layering my front and back panels with the acetate and the pretty pattern papers. Now, for some reason, I was really struggling on this second one, and it's actually a good thing that this particular piece I actually printed onto photo paper. So I could definitely lift it a little bit without it tearing at all. So I was really grateful for that. But once everything's lined up, I definitely make sure to burnish everything really well. I wipe down all of my acetate so that all of my fingerprint smudges are removed. And then I'm only going to attach this from the one side. So I pulled up the red liner release paper, and then I attached it. Now I'm leaving it open because we also have all of these little stands where we can actually start to build up our scene in each of those windows. And again, this is die cut from 120-pound heavyweight cardstock, and so I'm going to reinforce the 2 score lines that are put in place by the die, and I am gonna fold them both back. Now, if you want to have your landscape so that it looks a little bit more continuous, for one of the 3 stands here, you want to actually reverse your folds. So instead of folding as a mountain fold, you'll want to fold that one as a valley fold. And it's really clever that everything then looks like it's very seamless and it just connects from one scene to the next. And here, what you'll want to do is, again, using some strong adhesive. I'm using actually a combination. Even though I'm putting down double-sided adhesive tape, I'm still going to run a little bit of liquid adhesive over this when I go to actually attach it down. And with the little landscape stands here, there's actually 2 glue tabs. So you'll actually need to put adhesive on both of those. And one of them gets attached to the back of the card. And here's a close-up of how that looks when it's closed up. I just like to kind of dry fit everything so that I make sure I know how everything will ultimately fit together. And it's really well designed because what you'll want to do is the first glue tab, the one that's actually mitered and, has that angle cut, that gets attached down to the back of your card. And on both sides, you'll want to attach that to the back of your card. Then the second little tab, that's another 1/4 of an inch, that will get attached to the side of the card. And on the right side here, the second glue tab will get attached to the landscape stand that's beside it. So the here's where I attach the second glue tab. And again, you just want to use some strong tape. Red line tape works well. I tend to prefer score tape and liquid adhesive. And the reason why I use both is because the dry adhesive tape is really nice because I can get that fully to the edge, and I don't have to worry about trying to spread out my liquid adhesive all the way to the edge. And as well, because it offers a instant grab, I can sort of go on with the construction and kind of preview everything without having to wait for the liquid adhesive to dry. But the reason why I use liquid adhesive as well is because that will give me a nice permanent bond, because the liquid adhesive will actually seep into the cardstock and it will have a longer lasting hold. Now, to attach my gnomes, I am using an adhesive from Kalal. It's their all-purpose adhesive, and this is a solvent-based adhesive, so it will not soak into your paper at all. And the reason why I'm using a solvent-based adhesive is because these gnomes in particular, I actually printed on thinner paper. It's just a really high quality digital copy paper, and I don't want to risk that paper warping. So that's why I like to use my Kalal all-purpose glue for when I'm working with thinner papers, because then I can be assured that it's going to have a nice strong hold and it won't warp the paper at all. Okay, so here's how the two glue stands fit together. So the first glue tab, again, that's going to get attached to the bottom. And then the second glue tab will get attached to the little landscape stand that's next to it. And so I'll do that again on this side where I attach the first glue tab down to the back of the card. And when I go to attach the third stand, that's when I will pull up the adhesive or the paper liner for that second sort of glue tab. And so that's how these little stands get attached to our card, but as well how they get pulled up so that they're nice and dimensional when you actually open the card. And it's definitely easier to attach your gnomes with one side still free so that you can lay everything flat and burnish it. But as you saw with the second one, the Santa gnome, I was able to burnish just fine even after anchoring down both sides. So it works both ways. So here's something that I've had for a while, but I rarely pull out and use, and that's my little Marvy snow marker. So the way that this works is you can just draw with it, and sometimes it kind of released a lot of liquid, and sometimes it just doesn't flow very consistently, at least for me. And that might just be because I don't use it very often. But when you take a heat gun to this marker, it actually puffs up and then it looks like snow. And I found that the more liquid you have on there, the thicker the snow ultimately looks. Now, I wish I thought to use this earlier because it's pretty much impossible to get the snow effect on the other side, since that's already all glued down to what I'm calling the back of my card. But because this card is reversible, that could just as well be the front, depending on what the card recipient prefers. But to close everything off, all I do is just put adhesive or little liquid glue on the last glue tabs, both the little landscape piece as well as the card base, and then I fold everything down flat. And that's the card complete. So this is an amazing Digi bundle because it just comes, I'm only showing you 2 of the papers that come in this bundle, and it just makes for a really, really quick project, but very effective as well. And the little gnomes, I just used my Cricut to do the print and cut feature, and I didn't even have to fussy cut anything. So how easy is that? I hope that you enjoyed this project, and if you did, please consider liking, commenting, and sharing. And if you want to catch new videos when I publish them, click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Until my next video, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Thanks again. Bye.